Now we're almost through with this lab, and this is the final step. So we've now created this particular database diagram. However, we can simply close out these tabs and not save it. And we want to save this particular one. So the way of doing that is simply making sure that the database diagram is active. And come up here to the top, and then we're going to select this icon here, which looks like a small 3.5-inch disk, which indicates save. So we'll hit this. It's going to ask us for the name of the diagram. We're going to go ahead and give it a name. I'm going to call it Pet Store. Is that what I asked for in the instructions? Actually, I asked for us calling it Pet Store Diagram. There we go. So I'm going to hit OK. And if we expand out here, if we refresh our folders, we can easily see that now that Pet Store Diagram is going to be listed in our particular database. By the way, this will always be saved as long as we save it in that fashion. So we can close this if we like, and we come back to our SQL query window. And I'm going to delete this, SQL that we had run previously. All right, so let me kind of close some of these up here, and now we can see that we have all of our tables and whatnot in place. Now, the last thing that we need to do in this particular assignment is run a few queries. So let's kind of run this simple query that we're going to join the pet and supplier tables. Now, when we run a join, we're actually running something that is combining the data from the two tables. So previously, when I did like the select star from TBL pet, let's say, and let's say I just execute that, right? This is only giving me information about the pet table. But now if I want to have information about the store table, nope, I don't know why that happened. All right. Now with the store table, we can see that I have information about the store, but only in the pet table, it's only simply a number. And that number references the store ID number that is here, right? And let's say I wanted to create something that might connect the data that's here with the data that's here. That's where joins come into play. And we can see that also if we do a select star from TBL supplier. Let me change this to, there we go. And I noticed that I forgot a letter here. All right, let's go ahead and execute this. All right, so here, if we have supplier Smith, and let's say I want to know the address for Smith, that address is here. So if we wanted to run a query that would connect some of these things together, we can join the pet and supplier tables through using a join statement. All right, so let's kind of put this together a little bit. I'm going to expand some so we can see a little bit more of the screen. And let me expand down here and let's give it a shot. So the way that we're going to run this, and by the way, this is already in your lab document. So we're going to do a select star, which basically means we're going to get everything from, right? And I'm going to do a TBL underscore pet, and I'm going to give it a suffix P. Actually, I'd rather do it this way. There we go. And that P just says it's an alias, and we're going to join the TBL underscore supplier. Actually, I need to make sure it's spelled the same way. So TBL underscore supplier, and we're going to give that a suffix S. And we're going to join these two on, and we have to be able to identify what fields are matching here. So in the pet table, that is pet pet underscore supplier name, and this equals s dot supplier underscore supplier name. Okay, and then I close it off with a parentheses and a semicolon. And if I execute this, you can see that now what's actually happening is that I get the result from the pet table, which is everything from here to here. And it's looking at this supplier name here, and then it's giving me the appropriate data that connects to it on the left. And that's how come we have some repetitive data. So everywhere that you see Smith, you're going to see this Jonesville address. Everywhere you see Johnson, you're going to see the Sumter address. And oh, look, here's another Smith, and you can see again the Jonesville address. So that is pretty much how you deal with joining those two. So if we wanted to join the table, or the pet table, and the store, we can simply change this to store. And I'm going to go ahead and leave the S there for store. And this time the store ID is what connects us. And in the store table, I believe it is also underscore store ID, right? And so let's go ahead and execute that. And you can see now, up until this point, everything to the left is really the pet table, and everything to the right is the store table. And what's funky here is that you have these columns here in the middle that are identical. All right, and then you could see obviously everywhere there's a 2, it's Pet Superstore. Everywhere there's a 1, it's Pets R Us. All right, so that's how you do. Actually, that's the answer for part B in our questions. All right, is it easy to be able to connect all 3 of these? So can we do a double join on supplier and store? Well, when you look back at our pet diagram, right, our supplier is not connected to the store table directly. It's actually connected through the pet table. So if ever we wanted to connect these 2 tables, we have to do what's called a double join, and that's going to join us with the pet table. Right? So first we're going to join to the pet table, and then we're going to go from the pet table to the store table. Or we could do that in reverse. Let's see here what I'm going to do. All right. So what we're going to start with here is pretty much the same type of statement. So we're going to start from table pet. We'll leave pet with the alias P, and we're going to join on table. So this time we're going to start with table suppliers, I think. And I will give that an S. And of course, this in order to join the pet suppliers, right, that was joined on p.petstore, and that was supplier name, and that was equal to s.store supplier name. And here's where the double join comes in, is that we have to write the word join again, right? And then we're going to join basically the store table. So now it's going to be TBL underscore store. This time I'm going to give store the alias T, and the join is going to be on pet store store ID. And this time I have to change this alias here that I've done to alias T. All right, so let's go ahead and execute this and see what happens. Oh, I have an issue. I have an invalid column name, store supplier name. Oh, it's right here. There it is. All right, one more time. Boom. Now, boy, that's large, right? What this is it connects all the data that was in the database, and this could be actually a problem. But for a database that's this small, it's actually acceptable. But let's take a look at a few things. So if you look at the data from here to here, this is actually the pet table, right? And if we looked at the data from here to here, basically that's the supplier table, and everything to the right after that is the store table. So we could tell, of course, by the prefix in each of the columns. So that is actually the big challenge question on for question C on this particular exercise. And just to finish it up, the last one is change the store name for store 1 to pets and people. And here's how we do that. We actually do that with an update statement. So I'm just going to delete this, and I'm going to show you this update statement real quick. And we want to update the data in the store table. And we're going to set, we're going to set the store name equal to pets and people. This has to be in quotes, by the way, where the store ID is equal to 1. Actually, I don't need to put that in quotes, and I can hit enter. All right. So let me show you this here first. We're going to select star table underscore, or select star from table underscore store. All right. And then we're going to do a go statement, and then we're going to update the data, and then we're going to do another select star from the table after we've made the update. So here we go. Let's give this a shot. All right. So what we have here is from this select statement, we have this data. And notice that the name where store 1 is now pets are us. Then after the go statement, this update SQL script got executed. And then we did a select star once again. And now we can see that pets and people is now been replaced into where the store ID is equal to 1, right? And that right here is the answer to part D for our lab. So hopefully this lab has helped you with getting a better understanding as how to navigate through SQL Server Management Studio, and maybe not so much learning the SQL, but more how to use the SQL. All right. So what you'll have to do is hopefully you've saved all of your information, placed it into a Word document, and that's what you're going to submit for this lab and this assignment. All right. So thank you very much. Always reach out to me if you do have questions. I'll do what I can to answer them. Thank you.